Hey, this is Darren with Audio Designs in Jacksonville, Florida. We got a 2012 Mustang GT500 convertible we're working on. So we're gonna get into some tuning here. And the first thing we're gonna do is we got our cool little box that Mo assembled here. It's got a slot port in it. So the port actually wraps around in here. It's all stack fab. So I'll show a picture of that. Need to know where it's tuned to. So we have our Tesla amp over here, and then we're going to sweep this. We're going to figure out exactly where that's tuned to, because they're not always exactly what you think. So we just check it and see. Battery's low, so we're looking for a peak. So we're at, oh, we went way past. I gotta go lower. Hold on. Start low. All right. So we're looking for it to go up. So it's going up. The impedance is going up. And we're getting to a peak, and now we're coming back down. 1.3, 1.4. Let me go back. 1.3, 1.2. So 1.2. So this thing's tuned to 33 hertz, pretty low. So we wanted it tuned to about 38, 37, I think we tuned it to. So part of this box is actually acting as like the port, because we got the length right. We obviously know the dimensions for that. So that's why we check it. So this one's tuned pretty low. So now we gotta get to tuning. We're gonna set everything up. We're gonna program that Forza, set the gains and everything on those, and off we'll go. All right, so we're gonna get into tuning here. So first thing I always do is take my bass knob and I turn it all the way up. I'm gonna tune this track at -5 dB. So that's plenty. That's the most you need to go. You don't need to have it higher than that, I'm telling you. All right, so now I'm gonna go to run a 1K sweep. So I have my drop box here with my 1K note, and I'm just gonna put that on repeat, and then Mo's gonna help me. He's gonna turn up and down the volume, and we're gonna see where it clips. So I'm gonna take this. I don't know if you can see this too well. I'm gonna hook up over here to my front side RCA. All right, and we got. All right, turn it up. All right, got 0.5 volt, 1 volt. All right, keep going. All right, just click one at a time now. Call them out.
35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40.
40's all the way up?
Yep.
All right, so 40's all the way up, and it's clean. It's 3.8 volts. So if it's advertising 4 volt, it's not quite 4 volt. All right, now turn the volume. So the volume's on 40. So turn the volume to 35. So just going from 40 to 35, we already went down from 3.8 volts to 1.8 volt. So if you said, hey, I got a 4 volt head unit, now you're only 1.8, and we only went down 5 on the volume, so we only went down to 35. All right, turn it to 30.
30?
Yeah.
30?
30, you're only at 1 volt. Some old school Pioneer radios, 1 volt. All right, put it down to 20. So this is why you want your volume maxed out, because that's where you're getting your high volt pre-out. So at volume 20, we got 107 millivolts. So that's 1/10 of a volt. So that's 0.1 volt. So if you have your radio loud at 20, you only got 0.1 volt. So you're saying, hey, I got a 4 volt head unit, but you're only using 0.1 volt. So you don't want that. So it's clean all the way up to 40. So no clipping. All right, now we're gonna check the subwoofer. So you can look on here, you can see, I don't know if you can see it, but it says 40, oops, 40 hertz, 39.99. Nice round wave. Hold on, let me get this in here better. All right, turn it up to 40.
40?
All right, so 40, it's clean, no clipping. 3 point, my hand's cramping up, getting old. 3.6 volts, I think it was. It's clean all the way up on the sub side. All right, so we know it's clean all the way to 40. But what we're going to do is we're going to come in here, we're going to tune it at like 35. That'll give them a little bit of headroom. So if there's like a low recorded song, you know, he could turn it up a little bit. If there's a high recorded song, then he'd be good at 35. Something low comes on, you can turn it up a little bit, give him a little bit of headroom. All right, so I'm gonna check the firmware right here, 2.10, and then I can come over here. Mouse is backwards, but I can check the firmware. We can do a firmware update, make sure that the Forza has the correct firmware in there. So we actually had to do a software update to the 3.0. So we're waiting on that to open, make sure everything's up to date. All right, been going on 33 minutes. No, I'm just kidding. Still waiting on the bit drive to be updated and installed. All right, now we are updated with the 3.01 software, and we need to update this software here. So, all right, now we're updating the firmware to 2.1.2. So it should update here in a second. Make sure that this is the latest technology. All right, now we're gonna do some configuring. So we gotta configure the gains, configure the setup, all that kind of stuff. He doesn't have an optical in, so we'll take that off. We're going here, we're doing basically this front and sub. So we can go here, front full, front right, where am I at? Front right full, subwoofer left, no, that's surround. Subwoofer left, subwoofer right. Now we can set the gains on this amp digitally like this. So we have our sine sweep running. So we need to go higher voltage. So we're running here, we're blinking away. So we'll go up one. All right, so we don't have to check anything. We're running RCA, so we're not checking factory systems, so we don't have to worry about polarity and all that kind of stuff. Skip that one. This is de-equalize it. Well, it's not equalized because it's aftermarket radio, so we don't have to worry about de-equalizing the factory signal. Stop playing my tracks. All right, let me go do that. All right, stop playing the tracks. Now we got to set all this up. So output 1, that's going to be our front left tweeter. Front left tweeter. This is going to be front right tweeter. Output 3 is going to be front left mid-range, front right mid-range. So we just need to check the output of the subwoofer amp to set that gain. So it's basically, this is an 8-channel amp running 1 to the tweeters, 1 and 2 to tweeters, 3 and 4 to the mids, bridging 5 and 6 to the woofers, bridging 7, 8 to the other door woofer, and then you got your outputs for your subs, which I should have bridged those because I would have had 1 control and 1 EQ, but I'll probably change those. All right, so we're gonna set this tweeter up, cross over here. We're gonna put that at 3,000 hertz and 24 dB per octave. Tweeter here, 3,000 hertz. Down here at the bottom, mid-range. We're gonna run that from 350 hertz to 3,000 hertz. Bam. Should probably sync these somehow. 350 hertz. 3,000 hertz. And then we're going to start these woofers at 80 and we're going to listen to them. We're going to see if there's rattling or what's going on. So they're not always 80, nothing's concrete. So we can change that around. And the sub, we'll start that at 80 and see where we're at. So now we got it playing. I can hear it. Not very loud, but now we'll get into some tunes. Sub, we're gonna run at 40 hertz, negative 5 dB down, so that's 5 decibels lower than 0 dB, I guess. I don't know. But it's a lower signal that'll give us a little bit more headroom. Let's just replay it. Replay, I don't know what that means. Okay, and then I got my sub gain all the way up, so I'm gonna turn it to like, give him a little bit more headroom here. I'm gonna turn this to about, so I don't know if you can see the arrow down here. I'm gonna turn it to about right there, sideways, and that's where he really maximum is. If there's a song that doesn't have a lot of bass, he can crank it up a little bit. So actually I'm gonna turn it here. Give him a lot of headroom if you listen to some rock or something. That's where I'm gonna tune it at. We're gonna tune our sub amp here. We got the positive negative hooked up. This does have a clipping light, and we're running a negative 5 dB signal. So let's see where we can clip to. I don't know how well you're gonna pick this up. Let me turn my things off here. Alright, so that's a little bit squared off. Turn it down a little bit. Going up. Okay, there it's clipped. Bring it back down slowly. Okay, it's not clipping there. And then we're good. So now the second thing we want to check, because we want to make sure it's the full signal, it's 43 volts. So I already calculated this amp's 800 RMS, 1600 peak at 1 ohm. So I squared over voltage, square root of 1600 is 40. So this was 40 volts. So we're right there. We're at 43, so it's putting out a little bit more than the 1600. Just 43.5 squared would be how much power it's putting out. But that way we know we're close to it. I don't want this being 1 volt and it's clipping, and I don't pay attention and something's going on with the signal or who knows what. Alright, so we're going to get the tuning. So these are our target curves. So right now we're playing pink noise, which is basically every frequency at the same time, and it gives us a certain curve. So this is the curve that we're listening to now. And what we want is we want this target curve here, this yellow curve. That's our target curve. So we got to try to match all this up to that curve. So if I go ahead and turn off everything but one tweeter, so now just my driver tweeter's playing. That's my target curve for that. Actually, I gotta go in here and set my crossovers and get it set up. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna equalize that tweeter over here, bring stuff down. So if I bring down 6300, so watch right here, I'm gonna pull it down over here on my EQ. Maybe not. 6300. So I'll pull this down. See, it dipped it over here. Boom, dipped it over here. Now if I boost it up, boom, goes up. So now we're gonna try to hit that target curve. I don't wanna boost it. So let me get those crossovers set up, and I'll be back. All right, so we have our curve here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna bring the weak point's the mid. So we gotta bring everything down to that mid. We don't wanna boost this. So we're gonna come over here to our mid range. We're gonna play just that. So just this mid range is playing, and it's a little bit too low. And then we're gonna play the other mid. Oh no, that's the woofer. We're gonna play the other mid here. And that one's there. So we could bring these, we could turn the volume up, which I don't want to do. We could bring this curve down. So now we're going to try to match all these curves up to that. All right, first step here, we found our weakest point, which is this mid-range. So we're just playing the mid. We move this down. We got that to the bottom where these valleys are. Now we're going to play our tweeter. So this is just our driver door tweeter. See, this is way off of our target. So it's way too bright. You're going to have way too many highs. So now we're going to bring that down, bring it down, bring it down. We're going to get it close to that line. We're going to get right here, that bottom peak. We're going to pull this down, line all this up. That's like 16,000 hertz. Probably can't really hear that. Don't worry about it. I boosted a little bit. I don't know. Some people do, some people don't. All right. So now we're going to play with these EQs over here and bring that down. So we can come over here and we can say, okay, right here's the peak at 5,000 hertz. So we come over here. All right, so we got our EQ. So here's what we pulled down. You can see the little EQ right here. We pulled down these little sections, and then we got this pretty close. So it's riding on there. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna bring in our second tweeter and do the same thing. So we're gonna turn that tweeter off, turn this tweeter on, and we're gonna bring that down the same way we just did that last one. All right, so now Mo's tuning the mid. So he's got the driver front mid-range. And he's been lining this up here, so now he's got to EQ this. So we pulled a little bit down over here, and he's adjusting it. All right, so we got our target curve. We had some cancellations in the car. We got everything EQ'd. That's our sub, driver, passenger door, driver door, mid-range, tweeter, other tweeter. Now we got to sit in the car, center everything up, make sure we got a nice center image, and of course listen to it.